Hey, this is Amanda with Deep South Delicacies. I'm a busy mom of 3 sons, 2 daughter-in-laws, and 1 grandson. Needless to say, it gets a little bit hectic around here. So when I'm feeding my crew breakfast, I reach for their favorite, homemade chocolate syrup and hot buttermilk biscuits. The ingredients that you're going to need tonight are 2 cups of self-rising flour, 1/2 cup of a solid vegetable shortening, buttermilk, 3 tablespoons of unsweetened cocoa, 1 cup of sugar, and 1 cup of water. So let's get started. I have my large cast iron pot because usually I double or triple this recipe. I'm going to pour in my white granulated sugar. Get all that in there. I have my cocoa powder, and I have my water. And we're just going to mix this around and take it to the stove and let it come to a boil as we continue to stir. You want to keep stirring this until it comes to a rolling boil, and then we're going to turn it down and let it simmer. Now my chocolate is simmering. Let me show you what it should look like. Just a nice simmer here, and there is no reason to stir at this point. We're going to continue letting this simmer until our biscuits are completely done. Now I'm going to make my buttermilk biscuits. I have my pan sprayed with non-stick spray. I have my flour and my shortening here together, and again I've doubled my recipe, so yours will not look this much if you don't double yours. There's no sense in having special tools like pastry cutters and all that. All you need really is a spoon. So I'm going to cut in this shortening into my flour. We're going to work that around just a little bit. There's something very relaxing about making biscuits. My boys used to have company all the time, and it was nothing to have 4 or 5 boys over here on a Saturday morning. And these boys eat like men. So this is always a great go-to recipe. It feeds a lot, and I have found that most people have never had it. And they are pleasantly surprised at how decadent this is. Now we're going to add our buttermilk a little bit at a time and start to stir. Stir that in. So for your recipe, you're going to need about 1.5 cups of buttermilk. I just like to pour a little bit at a time until I get it the correct consistency. I'm using low-fat buttermilk. Feel free to use full fat if you would like. The outcome is not going to be any different. Okay, now all the ingredients are good and moistened, and I need just a little bit more, and that should be enough. So once you get your ingredients all good and moist, then you're going to have to start stirring a little bit vigorously to make sure that all that shortening is incorporated. So now my consistency is just right. Let me show you what this should look like. So we have a wet dough. It's a little bit sticky, okay? And that's what we're working with. Now you're welcome to roll this out on a floured surface if you're in for self-torture, but I choose not to do it that way. I put my hands in some flour, and I get a heaping tablespoon and put it on my hand. I'm going to flour the other hand. We don't want to work this dough very much, but I've got a ball. I'm going to put it down and press gently. Do that again just to make sure you got it. Flour the hand, heaping tablespoon, work it around a little bit, gently press. And we're going to repeat this until all these biscuits are made. Okay, so we're finishing up our biscuits now, and I wanted to let you know the reason that I chose to cook the chocolate before the biscuits is because we want to make sure that everything gets done at one time. The chocolate takes longer, so therefore you do the chocolate first. Now we're going to put a nice sheen on our biscuits, and the way that we do that is with buttermilk, and this is going to give us a really nice sheen to our biscuits without actually adding more fat. So just a little bit on each one. It doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to be coated on top. Now, what my mom did was whatever meat she was cooking, she would take a little bit of the drippings off of that meat and brush on the top. It would make a really pretty biscuit as well. You could also use butter if that's what you prefer. I have my oven preheated to 400 degrees. The biscuits go in until they're nice and golden brown on the bottom. Then we'll turn our broiler on to finish it up. Come over here and look at how nice and glossy our chocolate is. It smells absolutely delicious. And as you can see, it's coating the back of my spoon. That's exactly what we're looking for. So about 10 minutes or so, we'll be ready to eat. Now we've got our biscuits out of the oven. They're nice, warm, golden brown, very flaky. I'm going to show you how to plate this up. So we're going to take a biscuit, just open it, and put a little bit of, you can use margarine, you can use butter, whatever spread you would like. We're going to put that on the biscuit here. We're going to let it melt. Let's put that top on there so it can be melting. And once your biscuit is good and buttered, we're going to put the chocolate right on top. Chocolate syrup and biscuits. Thank you for being with us tonight, and I hope you'll join us next week for our video. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have, but I've got to go. I have a daddy to feed.
What are you doing?